Yo, UberTube, I think episode number 12. I'm here with Jackie_Juice. That's her Instagram handle. I will tag her. She is a Boulder local. Last time I gave you a ride, you were graduating from Naropa University.
Yes, that's right.
And I have actually interviewed some people from Naropa for my Breaking Normal podcast, one being Alok Mountain Within. Have you ever heard of him?
I've heard the name, I think from you, maybe.
Yeah, he does a lot of right now he works with a lot of Colombian shamans in the jungle, but he has climbed the highest peak on every continent.
Very cool. Seven summits.
Yes, exactly.
Dream.
Yeah. Now,
Awesome.
I'm curious, since you do therapy and such, are there 7 summits within us? That's the metaphor that we were trying to make with the video last time with the podcast with Alok. What do you think about there? Is there any parallel between summits within us and summits outside of ourselves?
The summits are our challenges or our life lessons that we have to summit or get to the top of in order to get through, to get back down to the ground.
Yeah, I bet you've seen a lot of more action in your industry maybe the last couple of years. Is that true with what's happened since 2019?
Well, I just graduated in May, and I spent the past year working as a therapist, as an intern, and now I just started my actual job as a therapist. So I'm sure there's been a lot of changes, though, in the past few years.
Awesome. Well, I used to host health retreats, and one of our mottos of the retreats was a sorrow shared is a sorrow halved, and a happiness shared is a happiness doubled.
Oh, beautiful.
You believe in that?
Absolutely, 100%.
What do you think? You have any tips or tricks for people that are like, how do I get more control over my mental health? Anything off the top of the heart? I know there's a lot.
So, my program was mindfulness-based transpersonal counseling, and I would say that it's really all about mindfulness and watching our thoughts. And when we can recognize our limiting beliefs and just our narratives and our thought loops, that's where the magic happens. Because once we start paying attention to those thoughts, we can kind of pull back and be the observer instead of buying into every thought that we have that we're not good enough, for example.
Oh, I so love that. I mean, any advice on how someone can observe their thoughts more than getting caught up in them and believing them dogmatically?
For me, it helps to always be reading something that reminds me to come back to the moment. So, for example, Living Untethered by Michael Singer, The Untethered Soul.
I love Untethered Soul.
The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Some Ram Dass stuff is good. Just for me, these books help remind me constantly to come back to the moment and don't believe every thought you hear. Also, just the power of consciousness in that we can choose our thoughts. We can choose the channel and what to tune into in our minds.
I like that metaphor.
So when we start getting caught up in these loops that we're not good enough or we can't do something, just pull back and be I choose to change the channel to one of believing in myself or trusting the process or something like this.
I love that. I'm gonna tag her, so if y'all want to reach out, I think she's a helpful ally, obviously, in the mental health realm and more. Thank you, Jackie. And I love the Michael Singer books. I think the Surrender Experiment. Have you ever listened?
So good.
That book sort of changed my life because I was on a surrender experiment while listening to it, and it was so affirming. Anywho.
Yeah, that's a good one for all you out there. Read or listen to the Surrender Experiment.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Jackie. I'll tag her.
Daniel.
Keep breaking normal, y'all. Yo, UberTube. Let's go.